Welcome back. It is time for round 4 of the Vintage Championships. I'm Randy Bueller here with Chris Pakula. We're going to watch Stephen Menendian. Literally wrote the book on Vintage. This is the guy. He's got a book on Gush. He's got a history of Vintage. He's been playing and writing about this format, and specifically just this format. I mean, he doesn't really
play other
doesn't
formats.
experiment in other formats. His opponent, Bren Learnihan-Sylvester. Bren's got a control build called Bomberman. The key trick is Auriok Salvagers, which lets him get infinite mana with Black Lotus, cycle through his deck with Spell Bombs. Menendian, not playing a Gush deck. He's playing Oath of Druids, Burning Wish combo deck.
There's Cavern of Souls. Note that Trinket Mage, Dark Confidant, Auriok Salvagers, I believe, are all humans.
They are all humans.
He does not have to worry about any of his creatures getting Force of Will.
Yeah, the bad news for Steven is he mulligans down to 4. He's actually, he's got an Oath of Druids in his hand, but I mean, I wonder if he might slow roll it and hope his opponent will play out a creature before he realizes that Steven's on Oath. Like Steven with this, I mean, the City of Brass is a bit of a giveaway, but Steven could potentially still be a control deck here.
Menendian is sort of in a bad spot where he's one of the players who people are
He's too famous to hide his
He's
deck.
a little too famous, so people might, a lot of people don't watch Vintage don't realize this, but within the Vintage scene, he's well known and people probably already know what he's playing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the most famous players in Vintage, maybe the most famous Vintage player. All right, Bren cracks fetch land for Tundra.
So, as Esper humans, we could call this.
Good luck getting that name to stick.
So here's Trinket Mage.
Right, so he kind of walks into Menendian's trap. Right, Trinket Mage is not all that exciting. I mean,
well, he's gonna get.
It does get Black Lotus or a Spell Bomb.
We'll see what he gets. I don't know the rest of his hand.
A lot of good options for Trinket Mage.
It's gonna be Black Lotus.
Yeah, Black Lotus. As we talked about, they call this deck Bomberman because you get the Auriok Salvagers and.
Right, and now it also just makes it so that, and if you draw Yawgmoth's Will, it's insane and. Just do a lot of things.
What you're saying is that Black Lotus is a good card?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then actually next turn he can just cast Tezzeret next turn. And win.
Yeah, and with Voltaic Key already in play, Tezzeret goes and get Time Vault, and we're done. So, now, Steven is in much better shape now. He has the Oath, which if he plays it and gets another turn, he can activate and quite possibly win on the spot. He also just drew Ancestral Recall, and on top of all that, he's got Force of Will for that Tezzeret. So it's a 4-card hand, but it'd be hard to draw up a better 4.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Ancestral Resolves.
Wow.
Ritual Soul Ring. I think you just play Oath here.
So he doesn't have the colored mana to cast Dark Ritual and Wheel of Fortune.
Right. No, I would just play Oath here. You can run Soul Ring out, sure. Wow, Oath of Druids. And his opponent was looking at that Trinket Mage, like Trinket Mage plays for the other team, but Bren does know if he just plays Tezzeret, he wins the game on the spot. Tezzeret would go get Time Vault, the key's already in play.
I think he just drew Salvagers.
Did he really? Oh, does he bait permission with the Salvagers here? He does. He plays Salvagers, and now Steven is like...
Well, that's not bait, but I mean, that's not baiting if he can't cast Tezzeret now. I don't know why...
Why did Steven let it resolve?
I don't know. Oh,
cast it with Cavern.
We already talked about that.
That's funny. He almost wants to not cast it with Cavern.
I don't understand what he's
doing.
He's going
to force a willing the Black Lotus because there's not enough mana to pick it up again?
Right.
Yeah. No, that's pretty smart, actually. So force a willing Black Lotus. Now he gets to untap, activate Oath. He's going to pull out a Griselbrand, and wow, look at Steven. He's excited. He thought he was dead. 4-card hand.
So what's interesting is that
his opponent had 2 different auto-win combos.
But he didn't have anything to do with the infinite mana. He just would have ended up getting the Tezzeret anyway. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah, this is...
Griselbrand is probably going to be good enough. So basically, if Steven can access Yawgmoth's Will, he'll have all the mana and all the storm count he needs to go get the tendrils from the sideboard and win the game. Now it's really just a question. I might actually wheel first here, but he doesn't want to wheel his opponent into permission.
This is a mulligan to 4.
Yes,
that's making it look easy.
Yeah, and it was he declined to play Oath. It's like maybe my opponent will play a creature. He didn't have the Forbidden Orchard to turn on his own Oath, so he had to wait and hope. And it turns out, he's playing Bomberman.
Yeah. He got a little lucky if Brennan had 1 more mana. Right, I think he would have been able to just get the Lotus again. I think he was 1 mana short.
Well, but then Steven wouldn't have forced. He would have waited and forced the Tezzeret. So Steven counting up his mana. He's drawn 7 from Jace. So he pays 7 life, draw 7 cards. From Griselbrand, sorry. Super powerful things, drawing cards.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Storm count is sitting at 2. He's probably just going to draw 7 more. I mean, it's really just a matter. He's probably got the game. He's got to make sure he doesn't mess it up.
He's got too much mana.
He's got to make
fizzle.
Right.
He's got all the mana in the world.
Right. He does not yet have access to Burning Wish. Like, Burning Wish goes and gets Yawgmoth's Will and/or Tendrils. He hasn't drawn one yet.
So is that Swords to Plowshares in Brendan's hand?
It is.
So he could have just, instead of going for that, just
plowed his own Trinket Mage?
Plowed his own Trinket Mage.
Well, he was going to win the game. Tezzeret wins.
He had 6 mana though. He could have
instead of Salvagers.
He could have Plowshare my Trinket Mage,
play
cast Salvager, but then he doesn't. Then he doesn't win because he doesn't have the mana to untap the Time Vault. But he could have.
Oh, right.
He took a riskier play.
Steven's going to go ahead and draw 7 more.
The
there's Burning Wish. There's Mystical Tutor.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah, no, he's done. He's also got a Hurkyl's Recall, which he gets to run both. It's a Storm Enabler. He can pick up all his Moxes and replay them. Makes mana, makes Storm count. It's also exactly the card you want against the Workshop deck. So it's almost like he gets to pre-sideboard against Workshop decks for free. And yeah, his Storm count is plenty high. Burning Wish to get the Tendrils out of the sideboard. It's he's just going through the motions at this point. There's Dark Ritual. Storm counts at 5.
Yeah, I mean this is just.
Yeah, you get to see how this deck works. Yeah, Griselbrand Oath. I feel like this is one of the most powerful things going on in this format.
Oh, there's no question.
You have a
once
deck,
it works.
Like you have a 54 card deck, which is already awesome, and now you just put 4 Oaths and 2 Griselbrands. Turns this deck ridiculous.
Right. No, the weakness is when you draw a card where you draw a hand that needs to cast
Steven
a lot
chose
of
the Burning Wish.
manipulation.
His opponent knows what's up. Just goes ahead and scoops him up.
Yeah, the problems with the this deck, I guess, is first of all, Forbidden Orchards make bad opening hands worse, right? If you kind of have a loose.
Because you're going to get attacked by 1 for a few turns.
Well, sometimes attacked by 2 or 3. I mean, if you have
almost
to
never matters.
Really?
Almost never matters.
I mean, it matters off mulligans. Like if you keep a hand with Ponder, and then I don't know. This deck hasn't really been. This is a very good deck, but it's like Oath decks. They never.
I think there's a resurgence of Oath decks for 2 reasons. One is Griselbrand is still a relatively new card in the grand scheme of vintage metagame changes. The other thing which I think has made Oath decks come out more is Swansong. I mean, Menendian not playing a Swansong, I don't think.
No.
But Swansong, so it's a 1-mana counterspell. The quote-unquote drawback is that you give your opponent a creature. But if you're playing Oath in Vintage, you want to give your opponent a creature. Often it's the difference between a great draw and a bad one is I need my opponent to have a creature. So
another interesting thing that has helped Oath is the legend rule. The fact that a Workshop deck can't just kill your creature with Phyrexian Metamorph is actually matters. Like you'd think it would matter because I'm going to draw a bunch of cards anyway, but often against the Workshop deck, you can't just draw 7 and cast a bunch of spells because they have like 2 spheres of resistance play or something. So you actually need your creature maybe to attack or block. And now sure they get a Griselbrand, but they can't do anything with 7 cards at all.
Sure. So what happens in this matchup after sideboarding?
So after sideboarding, so obviously Brendan doesn't need his anti-creature spells anymore because I don't think he's going to win a game where he Swords to Plowshares.
His own guy, yeah.
He's not going to win a game where he Swords to Plowshares Griselbrand either because
then
Menendian just draws 14.
Yeah.
So he's going to bring in Rest in Peace.
Sure, which turns off Yawgmoth's Will.
He's going to bring in. He might bring in Tormod's Crypt. He's going
to bring in Grafdigger's Cage.
2
Grafdigger's Cage. Basically turns off Oath. Those are the best cards in his sideboard by far. He might bring in Disenchant to also fight the Oath.
He has Devout Witness, which is a permanent answer to Oath.
It sort of turns it on the first turn.
Sure.
It's got Summoning Sickness. I'm not sure I like that as an answer. Disenchant seems way better.
But it's certainly better than some of the stuff he has already.
Is he that much anti-creature in his main deck?
He has Engineered Explosives, which can kill an Oath. He has 2 Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, the Plows are coming out. Plows turn into Grafdigger's Cages. That's the easy part. And then it's a question, I think, of how many Disenchants he wants.
Yeah. He's certainly not going to bring in the Stoneforge Mystic package.
He has Stoneforge Mystic Batterskull in his sideboard. It's cute. 3 Mystics and a Batterskull. Does Menendian do anything?
So Menendian, a lot of his sideboard is taken up by Burning Wish targets. So his sideboard's actually pretty small, especially because he has 3 Ancient Tombs, which are dedicated anti-Workshop cards.
Right, 3 Ancient Tomb, 2 Nature's Claims, and a Shattering Spree. That's the anti-Workshop package.
Now he might bring in Lab Maniac here because it's good against. You can win with Cage, right? You oath it to the top of your. You oath it up. You can actually cast it, and then the next turn you oath the rest of your deck. And is that?
Oh, that's how Grafdigger's Cage works with oath. You hit the creature.
Right.
So if you activate oath with a Grafdigger's Cage in play, you get to reveal until you see a creature. Grafdigger's Cage prevents the creature from coming into play, but then you draw.
I believe that is the case.
Interesting.
Maybe someone can verify that for us.
No, it makes sense. And a lot of these oath decks do run one Grafdigger's Cage.
Right.
The other thing I've heard people do with Grafdigger's Cage is a lot of times against a workshop deck, if they've got spheres of resistance and whatnot, you can't actually get the storm count you need to tendrils kill them, so you can Maniac kill them. Right. You know, first oath activation brings out the Maniac. Second oath activation, there goes the rest of your deck, and your inability to draw kills them.
So besides that, you know, his deck is already sort of set up to beat. I mean, he doesn't want to sideboard much anyway, so
right. He doesn't want to sideboard much. He doesn't need to sideboard much.
Now, whether he brings in show and tell in this matchup, I don't know. Probably does.
Yeah, I think the one show and tell in the sideboard is a Burning Wish.
Oh,
target.
Burning Wish. You're right. I'm sorry.
It's like basically you draw Griselbrand, Burning Wish, you go get the show and tell. I don't think you put show and tell in your deck.
You're right. This whole sideboard is just anti.
Yeah, it's workshop. It's a workshop plan, and it's the Burning Wish package.
Yep.
It's basically how the sideboard works.
So he's just not sideboarding.
Yeah, and you
Unless
don't need
the Lab Maniac comes in.
Right. You don't need an anti-dredge plan because you're just faster than dredge with a deck like this. It's interesting. So I've been playing a deck like this weekend, sort of between rounds. My version doesn't have the Force of Will package. I've got Duresses and Thoughtseizes. It's like you can take the same basic shell, and then you've got these half-dozen slots where do you want permission, like Force of Will, or do you want discard, like Duress, Thoughtseize? Like, I don't know what the right answer is. Menendian obviously wants his Force of Wills, and it's hard to blame him. It's almost like when you're on the play, I like Duress better. When you're in the draw, I like Force of Will better.
Right. Against workshops, I think Force of Will is probably just always better.
It's probably true.
That's probably what he's going for.
But yeah, there's definitely a split in the ways you can take this.
Yeah.
Like we saw Reed Duke playing a similar deck in an earlier round, and he's Duresses. He doesn't have the Oath package, but still, the rest of the deck, he basically has this deck minus the Oath package and down the Duress fork.
So Brendan has two Flusterstorms main decks that are obviously pretty good against Storm.
Absolutely.
Especially Storm that doesn't have Thoughtseize or Duress. So I found that in Legacy...
To be fair, there is one Thoughtseize in the sideboard that can be Burning Wish for.
So I found in Legacy cards that effectively counter Storm, like Stifle can counter the Storm trigger.
Yep.
You know, Flusterstorm, counters all the Storm targets.
Yep.
Those cards don't work as well against Legacy Storm decks. They're good against those decks for other reasons, but Legacy Storm decks tend to Duress you or Thoughtseize you or Cabal Therapy you before Storm is actually happening.
Okay.
Menendian's deck doesn't... His options there are limited.
Fair.
So he could have to try to storm into a Flusterstorm.
Fair. All right, looks like Steven went down to 6 cards. I believe Bren kept 7. He leads Fetch Land Mana Crypt.
Wow, so I don't...
Plays out the Mana Crypt.
I don't know about playing out Mana Crypt there. Because it's two problems. One...
The damage adds up eventually.
Two, let's say you only get hit by it 3 times. You don't want to lose to the mini tendrils because you... Once again, I don't know the rest of his hand. I'm not sure if there's a reason to play Mana Crypt.
If he had, Thirst for Knowledge, then
I guess if you were worried about
Twister and it goes away.
Twister or Twister, Windfall, Wheel of Fortune. I guess that's a real
Windfall's
reason.
a good one. Yeah.
Until I say that you may begin.
All right, Steven has Forbidden Orchard Pearl. Oath would be...
He has a big hand.
Oath would be spectacular here. He does not have Oath. What he does have is Time Walk
and
to take another turn.
And Burning Wish, I think.
I don't know how much more mana he has. So Time Walk is nice. He's got a Petal in that hand. Draws Twister.
And there's a reason to play the Mana Crypt.
There you go. So he can DT. He's going to Brainstorm. Oh, he's still got...
Wow.
Academy.
Academy is a really insane draw there.
That is big game. It's a little risky with that Brainstorm. Like, he took some lines out of play. Now, how do you play this? He can... Petal Academy gives him access to 4 mana.
Man, it's really tough here. It's because...
So he can DT for Oath? He can DT for Oath, play Oath.
I mean, he has Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, and Burning Wish, which makes this...
But he only has 1 non-blue mana. He can't DT and Oath. Because the Petal is either black or green, not both. He can Twister, but that's...
I mean, he could just...
It's not the most exciting Twister.
No.
He can tap Academy and Pearl for Twister.
I can't imagine you would Twister with Demonic Tutor in your hand.
Seems a little odd. is Burning Wish. Does that get anything? He can Burning Wish with 2 floating. He can Burning Wish with an untapped Academy. Doesn't sound awesome. It's not enough for...
This is the kind of turn that's tough to play if you haven't really played the deck a lot.
Oh, yeah. Note that Demonic Tutor also reshuffles, so the cards he's putting back are probably not getting drawn again.
And Burning Wish not
There's
restricted in Vintage. It was recently unrestricted,
Yeah,
which is one of the things that made this deck possible. So
Right.
some people were like, wow, he's putting Burning Wish back. Doesn't he want that? You got to remember, he has 4 of those.
He is going to Twister. Yeah, the DT doesn't get anything. If he had a green mana and can get an Oath, then I would like the
bad
DT.
to cast Oath next turn, though? With Time Twister backup? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know yet.
He's gone with the Twister.
It's not clear to me he has to like win this turn.
Right. It's fun to try. That's one of the leaks in my Vintage game. I always want to win it. Like if I have a chance to win this turn, I go for it. This is not the right way to think, but it's more fun that way.
It just seems like he had a really good plan B. So, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Necro, Oath. Does he have any mana?
No.
He's got Ritual? Is that a Ritual on the far left of
He
his
certainly
hand?
can't cast a green spell, but he can
Dark Ritual Necro.
Necropotence. But I think there's Forcible in Brendan's hand, or maybe not a blue card? No, he has a blue card.
Steven has...
mental misstep, the Dark Ritual.
Oof. Wow.
Wow, he lost the pedal to do that too. So that's interesting because the pedal is like an extra mana the next turn as well.
Yeah, the Academy power's down by 1.
And here we are. This is exactly what I predicted. The Forbidden Orchard token beatdown.
You did warn us.
May not even outrace the mana. It's like even. It's just barely ahead of the Mana Crypt
Right,
beatdown
Mana Crypt
now.
expected value is 1.5 damage a turn, but
So,
it always feels like it's 2 and 3.
Brendan does not have access to Strip Mine or Wasteland, so that
Wow, he drew Library.
the Tolarian Academy.
He just time twisted into a full hand and drew Library, so he gets to play the Library and immediately use it. That Time Twister helped him out. Now,
Although
Time Twister,
he has Mana Drain in his hand, so
you can't not play Library.
does he have Demonic Tutor?
Wow.
Yeah,
He goes with your plan. He's leaving up Mana Drain and declining the free card from Library. Steven drew a Burning Wish. He does have another Dark Ritual, so he can go for Dark Ritual Necro. He's once again got the Force of Will without the blue card, but he's going Oath. Yep, Bren's gonna Force.
So he didn't Mana Drain, right?
I didn't see a Mana Drain, I believe you.
Oh, am I just wrong then? He doesn't have a Mana Drain?
I mean, the Mana Drain explained why he didn't play Library. I didn't see it. Flips for Mana Crypt. Force of Will takes him off the Library plan.
Dark Confidant is a draw. Am I just dead wrong about the Mana Drain? It was a mental misstep the whole time?
I think so.
That makes me wonder why he didn't play
Library?
Library.
Alright, there's Dark Confidant. Bren just needs more ways to damage himself, right?
Yeah.
Sapphire. Here's another Oath. This one's going to resolve. Although, Steven's going to take 6 damage here, so he's only going to get to activate Griselbrand once. He's hoping it's good enough.
It's kind of a tell there that he didn't tap his Mana Crypt to cast Dark Confidant, like he went down to 1 blue mana for no real reason. And yeah, I was just dead wrong about the Mana Drain. I think the combination of the misstep plus the foil island was throwing me off. So here's Confidant trigger.
Land. He does get to attack for 6 here, but Steven's going to get to activate Oath, and he needs to win right now. He's going to get to
He's
Oath.
got nothing.
He's going to get Griselbrand, and yeah, Bren is basically empty-handed.
Not playing that Library really doesn't make any sense now. Especially because he would have gone up to 8, so that when he forced will, he still had 6.
Right.
Big mistake by Brendan, I think.
Well, he can't keep 8 because he would have had to discard.
No, on Steven's turn.
Oh, Library's on Steven's turn.
Library's on
Yeah.
Steven's turn.
Oh, it's the Maniac plan. Wow, that plan doesn't work, does it? So Steven sideboarded into the Laboratory Maniac plan. He needs to have no library and then draw. Oh, he doesn't die the next turn, right? He's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Steven's plan is next turn, oath his library away and win with the Maniac.
Yep. And this is where Brendan's going to wish he still had Swords of Plowshares.
Yeah, if he had a plow, he could totally win this game. But yeah, I thought Steven was going to oath up a Griselbrand.
He still has a turn here, though.
Well, he has a main phase. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Give him another guy to Burning Wish for... I mean, Thoughtseize would be tempting, except that he doesn't have black mana.
We've run out of tokens for Forbidden Orchard.
It's more creatures than we've seen in any previous vintage match. What is he... Diminishing Returns? What is this, the backup plan?
Do you want to cast Diminishing Returns here?
No. I think it's the backup plan in case Maniac dies.
No.
Yeah, it's the backup plan in case Maniac dies. This is an
interesting spot where you might say to yourself, well, if Yawgmoth's Will is in the sideboard, why not have Time Walk in the sideboard?
Because you can draw it.
Right. It's better to draw in the early game.
Yeah, it's only the Yawgmoth's Will that you want to make sure you get. So Graph Digger's Cage, a little bit late.
Yeah.
Graph Digger's Cage, 1 turn too late. Looks like we're going to see a Laboratory Maniac.
Well, that actually wouldn't have mattered. He just would have cast the Maniac, right?
He had to oath into it.
Right. You get
and then he would draw it and cast it. You're right.
So if he he drew Trinket Mage. If he left Aether Spellbomb in his deck, he can actually get the Spellbomb and send the Maniac back.
You know what else that Diminishing Returns is? It's a blue card for Force of Will. That's why he wanted Diminishing Returns. Really smart play. Yeah, Steven's been looking at that Force of Will and it has not been active. I mean, if he casts nothing, then he has exactly 5 mana where he can hard cast it. But yeah, Burning Wishing for Diminishing Returns is both the backup plan and turns on Force of Will. So Graph Digger's Cage, no problem. Trinket Mage, it's gonna get countered.
Or at least
he can wait and counter the Spellbomb. Trinket Mage. Yeah, Steven doesn't need to counter that. He may as well see what's up. But yeah, Aether Spellbomb could potentially have won this game for Bren, except Steven's got his Force of Will. And here's another advantage of the Force of Will. Like, if you're on the Duress version of this deck, you can't control their top deck. You can only control what's in their hand. Duress would not have won this game, but Force of Will is. I think Steven's debating whether to force the Trinket Mage. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Go ahead. Let me prove to me you've got something I need to counter. He's probably still got the Spellbomb in his deck, right?
I would think so.
Greg Price.
It's a happy Steven Menendian.
There it is. There's Aether Spellbomb. He does still have it.
Greg Price and Bella Ball, please report to the stage.
It's looking at Steven's graveyard.
That's a sad way to lose to Laboratory
Maniac.
Yeah, that's like you're like, man, I think it's not hard to kill.
He would have lost to Griselbrand too. Probably. This one's a little safer though. All right, shows the Aether Spellbomb. He's gonna shuffle. Taps library for colorless mana. Always a sad use of a Library of Alexandria. Aether Spellbomb. We have a Pac-Man Ghost Spirit token in play. Is that what's going on? No, sir. Force of Will, your Spellbomb.
So this is interesting.
That
ended up being a big play. Him when he played the second blue.
Yeah.
And didn't play library. It really cost him.
We don't know if the top of his deck would have gotten him out of
No,
this,
but it definitely cost him like 3 cards.
There's the hand. Laboratory Maniac, oath the entire deck over. Laboratory Maniac kills him. Hey, he has to explain it, but yes.
Does he have to show that he doesn't have a creature?
Sure, if I was Bren, I would want the confirmation. There you go. No creatures. I'm out. Yeah. May as well confirm it. So there's the Laboratory Maniac plan. Saw Menendian win both ways. Oath out the Griselbrand for the combo finish. Oath out the Laboratory Maniac to get that win.
Now, what do you think? Now, when do you decide to do the Lab Maniac instead of Griselbrand? What's the consideration there?
I don't know. I know that against Workshop, Maniac is sort of easier and safer because
they have 4 Graph Digger's Cages.
Not only do they have 4 Graph Digger's Cages, but I mean it's a lot harder to get the combo win through Sphere of Resistance, Thorn of Amethyst.
Oh, of course.
Right? So they're just...
But at the same time, a 7/7 lifelinker could just beat them, right?
In 2 or 3 turns, sure. Maniac kills faster. Against a control deck, I don't know what the consideration is.
Yeah, I guess there isn't a way for them to stop Maniac in play, right?
I mean, he took his plows out.
Right. I mean, a workshop. So what? We got another match here, right?
Duplicate. They can.
Oh.
They do have duplicates. But yes, we have another match. So Menendian safely to 4-0. May get another look at him.
So I believe this is former Vintage Champion Mark Hornung playing the same deck that he won Vintage Champs with, Dredge.
More Dredge.
And he's playing against Justin Franks, who, as you can see, has an Oath of Druids in play and is playing...
It's Burning Oath with the Duress version.
The Duress version.
Yeah, this is Menendian's deck, except with Duress is where Menendian has Force of Will.
And this deck is actually playing something Randy was talking to me about earlier, Mox Opal. 2 copies, which under the new Legend rule sort of act like...
yeah, you know, honestly, when I built my deck, I only have 1 Mox Opal because I thought they were restricted. I would absolutely play 2, maybe 3 of that. Yeah. Seems like it's good in a Storm deck where you just want mana acceleration and... The Legend rule does mean the multiples, but okay, you know what? I would Lotus Petals restricted.
Play more Lotus Petals, yeah.
I would play Sapphire Petal.
Mark is the kind of guy who was confident enough in what he was playing that his deck registry sheet is actually printed rather than handwritten. Although he did
scratch out a card.
He did make a last minute change.
Petrified Field with the last minute replacement for Gemstone Mine.
So it looks like this is 1-0 in favor of the Oath deck, and with an active Oath in play.
But that's off a Gemstone Mine?
Oh, it's not active. Sorry, there's no creature.
Right, there's Oath, but that's not a. Is that Petrified Field? It's not undiscovered, or it would be in his hand.
Oh no, you're looking at the wrong deck list.
I'm looking at the wrong deck.
The Oath deck certainly doesn't have a. I don't know what land that is. It's shiny and some different art. Like, is it a weird reprinting of Forbidden Orchard or City of Brass or Gemstone Mine?
There is a Friday Night Magic card on Mark's side of the board. That could easily be a 1/1 token. It could be Forbidden Orchard art that I don't know.
That is what it is.
Oh yeah, he's sacking the token for Cabal Therapy though.
There you go.
So Cabal Therapy actually turns off the Oath of Druids here.
For a turn.
For a turn, right. Forbidden Orchard can create another creature, and eventually he'll run out. But all the Dredge player needs is time. Right? Mark's got Bazaar of Baghdad. He's resolving Cabal Therapy. So looks over, he sees Windfall, 3 lands.
Windfall doesn't seem great against Dredge. From the vault, Forbidden Orchard.
From the vault, Forbidden Orchard. Oh, from the vault lands.
Yeah.
There you go. What do you take here?
Well, I don't know what he names, but he obviously didn't name any of those things. Is he going to bring the Blood? He chooses to bring Bloodghast back?
Which turns on Oath. He can flashback Cabal Therapy? Oh, he's got another Cabal Therapy.
He's take everything here.
Yeah, okay. So second Cabal Therapy is going to nail all the relevant spells and leave Justin with just 3 lands in his hand. Yeah, I'm flashing it back, dude. Put the Windfall down. Yeah, there you go.
So in usual Dredge fashion, he just has his graveyard in play.
Is this just how everybody plays it?
I mean, it's...
The graveyard is removed from game zone. The battlefield is funny.
I don't know, I'm sort of...
Our Pac-Man Spirit is back.
I assume that's his graveyard. I don't know how the Narcomoeba got there, and he just chose not to bring it back.
Because of Oath?
Not sure.
Oh, you can't trigger Oath and then give him a creature. That doesn't work, right?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I think it's beginning.
I believe Justin has just had that explained to him. Right, he put the Oath trigger on the stack and then tapped Forbidden Orchard, but the Oath only triggers if they have more creatures than you, so it doesn't... You can't react to the trigger by giving them a creature. Which means there's no trigger at all. They might let him back up here since he was trying to respond to a trigger that doesn't exist.
Although technically...
I mean, clearly you can tap Orchard during your upkeep if you want to.
Yes.
Nothing's stopping you from doing that.
People used to sideboard Greater Gargadon against Oath.
Sack all your creatures.
Right.
Suspend
well,
counters.
not only could you sack your creatures to not trigger Oath,
right,
but the Gargadon actually used to be bigger than some of the creatures in Oath.
Sure.
Now with Griselbrand and Emrakul and whatever crazy things you can do, it's changed. But
yeah, usually you're either Griselbranding and winning with that turn, or it's Emrakul.
Well, like they used to have things like Iona. Is that what the one that name a color? Like that thing's not big enough to stop a.
Yeah, it used to be just big flying creatures.
Plus it's haste. So if you got them to 9, you could attack them for 9 without ever triggering the Oath also. No one does that anymore.
I remember oathing up Archangels.
Yeah, that was
U.S.
in standard,
Nationals one
right?
year, yeah. When Oath was in standard. 5/5 Flying Vigilance. That was good enough.
Mulch. That
was the mulch deck, yeah. Mulch Scroll Rack. That was good times.
Yeah, mulch. That was a very frustrating deck to play against. Well, it was, I think, one of my Magic low points of my life. I was playing against Tony Sai's version of that deck.
Okay.
And I believe I threw my deck at Tony at one point during the playtesting, and what I would have real Magic low point.
All right, Justin plays an Emerald and a Mana Vault. He's got the Academy, so he's got tons of mana. He just really wants to activate Oath and get Griselbrand into play.
Yeah, for those of you that are confused, I believe that's Mark's graveyard.
Yeah.
On the board. And those cards way off to the top are just removed from the game.
And the Spirit is in play.
Yes.
All right, well, Mark is now activating Bazaar of Baghdad. He does not have a Dredger yet. Right, so he just drew. Yeah, we came in after the beginning of this game, so it looks like that first Bazaar activation failed to bring him any Dredgers.
Right, so I don't know what
now he's just drawing to keep him free. Yeah, he normally expects by the second Bazaar activation, those draws get replaced by Dredges.
So
not this time, though.
Mark, by the way, has 4 Nature's Claim and a Wispmare in his sideboard. I assume he's sideboarded.
A lot of ways to kill Oath.
Sideboarded all of those in. He also has a Serenity, which you don't know if he brought that in or not.
Sure. His hand has an Undiscovered Paradise for colored mana. I haven't seen if there's a relevant spell. Goes to Straw Face. Still no Dredgers. Attack for 1.
Yeah, he really needed to draw Nature's Claim.
Yes. Looks like this Oath, no Cabal. He's out of Cabal Therapies. He's lost the ability to kill his own creatures. So that Oath is going to resolve. Is that second Bazaar? Yeah, second Bazaar. Which triggers and gives him Bloodcast. He's going to activate the Oath. He may as well get the Bloodcast as well.
Yeah, I don't know what his plan is here, except to hope that Justin
fizzles. Yeah,
fizzles.
Yeah, he's got to hope Justin fizzles. All right, activate Oath.
These decks just don't fizzle much.
Not with the Griselbrand version. We saw Reed Duke fizzle, but he didn't have draw 14 in play.
No, Reed Dukes was a much different situation. This is.
Graveyard full of gas.
Justin really has a lot of different sorts of Moxes in his deck. He has Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, actual Moxes.
Yeah, Rituals and Moxes. Dogmoth's Will is now officially lethal. Empty the Warrens. Tinker, Lion's Eye, Bargain, Duresses.
So this is an example.
Oh, he's on the Lab Maniac playing this game.
This is an example.
It's the same thing we saw Menendian do. He's not going to Griselbrand win the game. He's going to play Lab Maniac, which presumably is the only creature, and now next turn, he wins the game on a straw phase.
Isn't this a bad plan against Dredge? Or
it seems slower. I would rather draw 14 and Stormkill.
Right, giving Dredge an extra turn
does not
scary.
Make sense to me.
Yeah. Interestingly, Mark Hornung does not have access to the sideboard in Chalice of the Void, which we saw from the earlier Dredge deck, which would obviously be extremely powerful in this matchup. A Chalice on 0 would shut down an insane number of cards in Justin's deck. Like I said, Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Daemon, Lotus Petal, all the real Moxes. That's just Mark has chosen to go with a much more streamlined deck that has more of the dredgers, more of the combo cards, extra dread return targets. Doesn't have access to things like Chalice.
Yeah, he's giving him a turn, and there's a Flamekin Zealot in the graveyard.
Giving him a turn with no dredger, though. That's the thing.
Good point. Yeah, Mark's draw is awkward for sure.
Really strange.
Is he short? Is his list short on dredgers?
I don't think
4
so.
Grave Troll, 3 Thug, 4 Stinkweed Imp. No, he's got all the normal suspects. Maybe he sideboarded somehow.
He even has 2 Dockmore Salvage.
Yeah. No, it's just an awkward draw for Mark. So
it's especially strange given that he didn't keep a Nature's Claim heavy hand.
Sure. He doesn't have the dredgers and he doesn't have the anti-enchantment because he's still like Nature's Claim wins in the game here. He kills the Oath. And Laboratory Maniac, you have to activate Oath twice to win with the Maniac. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but
is that Nature's Claim?
Did he draw Nature's Claim?
I can't tell. He's shuffling too fast. He does have enough cards now though where he can. Oh no, because if he bazaars, he won't have a land. That's what I talked about earlier. Where like the fact that you need the land and the Nature's Claim actually makes it difficult.
Yeah, draw 2, discard 3. Not a good plan. You got to accumulate a couple of cards. It's hard. Blood Gas gets in for 2. Doesn't seem relevant. Yeah, Justin's set up. He wins the game on his turn if he gets to activate Oath again.
Oh, Wispmare. All right.
Wispmare.
I thought that.
Yeah, I didn't see a green card to be Nature's Claim, but Wispmare gets the job done.
I just saw a card I knew wasn't a regular Dredge card.
Right, so now here the Lab Maniac plan looks even worse. Not only did he give Dredge an extra turn, but now his Oath is gone.
Right, he doesn't.
So all he's got to show for it is a 2/2.
He's got a 2/2 instead of Griselbrand. That is,
I feel like Griselbrand would have just instantly won the game there.
Yeah. Oh, and he gets a zombie.
Yeah, Bridge from below.
Wow, so Mark Horning really may have stolen a game here with no dredger.
Crazy. I mean, it's not over yet. Justin's
right,
on
but I
17.
mean, this is a
Mark is clearly
legitimate beatdown plan now.
Justin has played out his hand, done all the powerful things this deck is designed to do, and they've resulted in a 2/2.
And a lot of draw 7s went into his yard.
Yeah, no, his graveyard's insane. He needs to draw a Burning Wish. It doesn't even do it, because he only has 1 rainbow mana. He doesn't have black or red. Oh, City of Brass. Does his hand have anything relevant? Gemstone.
His land is City,
and the card in the middle, which must not be business.
Wow, what an interesting game.
It's one of the, is this a danger of shiny things moment? Like you've got this sideboard you can transform into, so you've got to push the shiny button?
Yeah, I once again, these are like the 2 vintage decks I've not really played. So
yeah, no, I've been playing with the Oath deck, but like I looked at these sideboards, I see the Lab Maniac, and like I just feel like I don't get it. Like I can see some cases, I mean, against workshops I get it.
Right, against graphics.
It worked out for Menendian just fine. Anti-Graph Digger's Cage, maybe that's where I'm...
Right, that's what it is.
But I mean, your deck can win without the Oath, and your deck can blow up a Graph Digger's Cage.
Right. Oh, this is a spot where, this might be why Brian DeMars, who was playing a similar deck earlier, although not Burning Wish, but his Oath deck had Tinker Blightsteel in addition, so he had like other ways to...
Which still loses to Graph Digger's Cage.
Yes, but at least he had...
There's the Serenity. Mark did bring it in.
He had other ways to get one of his fatties into play.
All right, so Mark Hoining has filled up his graveyard. He's got a Bridge from below. He's got Icarid. There's another Cabal Therapy in there.
Yeah.
It took him a while to find the dredgers to really fill it up.
I wonder how they're going on time for 2. I don't know how far we are into the round. This is game 2, and 2 decks that can both capable of winning on turn 2.
Right.
Are taking quite a while.
It's a fine point.
There's the
Blood Gas gets removed from the game in order to bring Icarid out. And draw step. Grave Troll's going to dredge. Therapy, Thug, Nature's Claim.
That was the Dread return. Yeah. So I think the game's over.
Dread return into Flamekin Zealot. Wins this game, right?
I think so. Because there's a bridge from below.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got 1 bridge, so he's going to have to make some zombies.
No, it's 2 bridges, right? I think I just saw a second bridge. You went kind of fast.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Right, so he Cabal therapies.
Sacking Narcomoeba.
Gets him a number, I think 3. I think I actually saw 3 bridges, but it's going to be overkill.
Sure.
Yeah.
So bridge from below, whenever a creature goes to your graveyard, you get a 2/2 zombie. If it's in your graveyard and the bridges are in the graveyard, 3 bridges means 3 zombies. The other thing in his graveyard is a Dread Return, where you can sack 3 creatures in order to get any creature you like from the graveyard into play. He's got a Flamekin Zealot, which gives everybody on your side +1 and haste. So sacking 3 creatures is going to make 9. Flamekin Zealot hastes everybody up and crash.
Bridge from Below, clearly one of the weirdest cards in the history of Magic. Like
It's got to be on that list.
Like it has a casting cost, but you would never cast it.
No, it's only useful in the graveyard. Wow, yeah, Mark Horning has stolen a game.
So
Justin Franks has got an Oath deck. He got to trigger Oath, and instead of Griselbrand, he'd switched to the Lab Maniac plan. Never got to activate the Oath a second time, and now he's dead.
So the most interesting thing I've seen with Bridge from Below recently is in Modern Masters Draft. Bridge from Below happens to be in that set.
Sure.
And I forget who did this, but it was really genius. They sideboarded it in against someone who had 5 Thieving Sprites in their deck. So Thieving Sprite is sort of like, they force you to discard, but it's a card of your choice.
Right.
So Thieving Sprite hits you, you discard Bridge from Below. Now whenever your creatures die the rest of the game, you get a 2/2. That's pretty good. And when someone has 5 of a card in a 40-card deck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably going to come up.
Yeah, it's very clever. But it's interesting, the card costs 3, it's difficult to cast, black.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, because you never want to cast it. Although it would be good in Devotion decks and standard.
Oh,
possibly.
funny.
But they gave us that new one that no one's using, the new weird
Dark Prophecy?
Dark Prophecy, right. If you're into three casting cost enchantments. So yeah, going to game 3. That was cool. I thought we were coming into this one.
Yeah, it looked over.
Just like, oh, he's got the Oath, he's got the thing, and
no, Lab Maniac.
that one turn.
No Griselbrand.
That one turn of the therapy is what did it. If he had Oath one turn earlier,
oh right, he wouldn't
have got to that Nature's Claim, because that was like the last card he drew was that Nature's Claim.
The Wisp-Mare, but yeah.
Yeah, Wisp-Mare. So the Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, Cabal Therapy bought him a turn. He used the turn to find. Then he had to let Oath happen. It was only a Lab Maniac though, so he got another turn. Used it to finally find Wisp-Mare, and then another turn. He finally had the dredgers he needed to go off.
So it looks like Mark sideboarded out his Serenity here. I'm not sure what made him. He just doesn't like a 2-caster on the play or on the draw.
He's not as scared as Oath anymore. I bet the Griselbrands come back in. I mean, that game was won if it was Griselbrand.
Oh yeah, I mean it's really hard to. It's hard to imagine that. Yeah, I once again, I also don't know.
I'm sure there are scenarios where Griselbrand doesn't work.
I don't know if Dredge decks use Cage. I thought they mostly use Leyline.
Is he worried that if he takes damage, that he doesn't get to draw the cards off the Griselbrand, then the Maniac is an easier kill?
But Dredge doesn't actually do that much.
No, it feels like it does all the damage at once.
Yeah.
I mean, it can do some, but... Yeah, no, I think your plan against Dredge is supposed to be that you're faster, and Griselbrand is significantly faster.
Yeah, well, you can't give a turn.
Right. Yeah, it is at least 1 turn faster.
Attention vintage players, that is time in the round.
Time just got called. These guys probably have a time extension. We'll find out if they have a time extension. 5 extra turns also.
5 extra turns is
enough.
Definitely enough. But this is a huge advantage for Justin to be on the play, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a time extension and get a couple turns in, then...
Although both these decks are capable of winning on turn 2.
They have 9 minutes of time extension. Oh, okay. Yeah, they got plenty of time.
Yeah. No, they don't appear to be hustling.
Fair. Yeah, no, I would be...
Most Magic players hate the draw. They don't want the draw. Like, even if they're like...
It's
even
bad.
if they're like 35-65 here.
Sure.
They think they're the underdog. They still don't really want the draw.
Right.
And these guys are 2-1, so 7-1-1 is probably gonna make top 8 today.
2 of them missed yesterday.
Yesterday was bigger.
Yesterday was bigger. Yesterday we had like 460. I think this one is 240. So which is like we're on the just barely got to 9 rounds of Swiss. Yesterday was at the almost got to 10. Right. So X11 is going to be good enough today, I would think. And not only did two people miss on a loss on a draw yesterday, there were not draws in the last round. Like lots of people chose to play rather than take the draw because they knew it probably wasn't good enough.
Right.
But yeah, we are 9 rounds of Swiss.
So this is interesting where Mark Hornung can't really alter his mulligan plan much in this matchup.
Gotta go find Bazaar.
He's still just Bazaar Baghdad or no. I don't think that he really cares enough about, Nature's Claim type cards because of what his opponent's playing.
I mean, so he blows up an Oath. If he doesn't have a Bazaar, he's not doing anything.
Right.
That hand, I don't think I saw a Bazaar, but Justin's on the hook to make the first mulligan decision. I see Ritual Petal Bargain, which is almost but not quite enough mana for turn 1 Bargain.
I think he has a Time Walk, but I don't think he has a Mox.
It's awkward. So if he has a Time Walk, I might keep that. Yeah, 3, 4, 5. Turn 2, he walks, and then any Mox or any land turns on Bargain.
He has a Mox.
Oh, Mox Opal,
Mox Opal.
which is not good enough because there's only a Petal. But yeah, I mean, he plays. If he keeps, I think he's decided to keep. That hand is land go, turn 2 Time Walk. Hope by then you have found another artifact or a land, and then you get to play Bargain. That should be good enough.
I wish Mark would show us his hand. I don't think we saw Bazaar.
Wow, he's gonna cash it in.
Oh.
So is Mark.
Mark's
They're both
serum
gonna
powdering
mulligan.
though, right?
Yes.
Serum powder.
That is a
mulligan.
serum
He still
powder.
gets 7.
Those all go away. Yeah, you've got a mulligan that if you're the Dredge player.
Now he's going to 6. Now he's doing a real mulligan.
So do you keep Justin's hand? I think I keep. It's land, Petal, Ritual, Bargain, Mox Opal.
I don't have enough experience in the deck.
I mean, it
I think the
probably
problem
plays
is,
turn 2 Bargain.
No, because
Well, turn 2. Oh, Time Walk is the other card.
right,
It
but
goes land.
Ritual only gains you 2. So
If I go, if I Time Walk and then I have a 3rd land drop, I have 3 land, Petal, Ritual. That's 6,
turn 2. So he needs.
and that's
to
without
kill.
turning on the Opal. And any Mox turns on the Opal. Like if that 3rd land, you replace it with a Mox, and now I have 7. It's a turn 2 bargain draw, almost certainly. I mean, not guaranteed, but it's probably turn 2 bargain. Effectively turn 2.
That does seem hard to throw back.
Yeah, I would keep that draw. I mean, it dies to Therapy naming Bargain, but
I'm kind of surprised to have Duress in against. Maybe there's just nothing else to.
against Dredge?
Is Duress good against Dredge?
No, I mean, you might hit. Does he have? You might hit a cage. They might randomly have a cage.
Well, he's clearly afraid of.
They
cage.
randomly have a Nature's Claim. You can hit that.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
It's not awful. I mean, you don't. The sideboard plan with Dredge is a bunch of anti-workshop cards and your Burning Witch package. So it's not like he has relevant sideboard cards.
Yeah, I don't know. Turn 2 Bargain on the play.
Yeah, it's probably like 85, 90. It's 90+% turn 2 Bargain.
Right. The question is any has to say go?
Well, you can draw some cards. You might.
But he already played his land.
Right. If you enabled, if it was a Mox instead of a 3rd land, and your Opal is turned on, then you have a mana. Like, you may as well refill your hand and see.
No. What I'm saying is,
You're probably saying
chances are the Dredge deck will have 3 turns, and they could kill you in 3 turns. Maybe that's what his thinking is.
Takes a pretty good draw from Dredge to kill in 3 years.
No, it doesn't take that much of a draw. It's pretty easy, especially because
That's a fair point.
You gotta remember, it's they either kill you or they're able to therapy you.
Well, if I have Bargain in play, I'm not worried about getting therapy.
That's true.
Like, they need to actually kill me.
And you have to think that if he's sideboarding in Nature's Claims and so forth, the turn 3 kills are definitely less likely.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a Judgment Call.
The other thing is that Dredge decks have therapy, but they don't have duress. They don't have Thoughtseize. So
Right, he's going to whiff on a
he's
therapy.
not going to name Bargain.
Exactly.
At least not the first one.
Right. The second therapy will blow up your hand, but that's unlikely to happen.
So
this is Wheel Vampiric City. What's the middle card?
Is that another Chromox or Mox Opal or something?
I believe it is.
So I would
new frame
say
artifact.
that the Dredge deck is hugely favored.
He's going to
obviously.
Vampiric for the mana he needs to wheel. Vampiric for, like, Crypt.
So
Can you do better than Crypt? Crypt's pretty good here, right?
Tormouth? Does he have Tormouth Crypt?
No, Mana Crypt.
No, Mana Crypt.
2 colorless.
I was like, what are we talking about? Wow.
2 colorless. It helps with the Opal, which is the other card in his hand.
Black Lotus.
You see,
I think Mana Crypt's better.
Lotus is good. He's going to end up with a mana floating this way, but he's farther away from turning the Opal on. So he's up half a mana for now. And he does not have a Lotus in his graveyard. I mean, in his deck.
The other
He
thing
does
is,
have a Lotus in his
Wheel
graveyard,
it's
though.
Wheel of Fortune, right?
Yeah.
So he's almost certainly dead very quickly because
Oh, because he just filled the graveyard before the
that means
Bazaar
he's going to be
activation.
able to dredge on a.
Oh, no, yeah, this wheel is definitely helping
He's going to
out
be
Mark
able to
Hornig.
dredge with his first Bazaar bag that activation where normally he
Yeah, you never
wouldn't
get to
be.
do that.
Right.
All right, he draws Black Lotus. He's going to play the Opal. He's going to play the Lotus. He's going to sack the Lotus for whatever color he decides he wants to have floating.
Wow.
Which is probably black. He took blue.
Man, I feel like he has to win this turn, right?
Wheel. I'm guessing, is that a blue mana? Can we find out? Using a blue die. He probably has a blue die and a black die. He still has his land drop available, which is good news. So
Why did he tap City of Brass?
yes, because
To
I have no idea.
Sack the
Lotus for red. Yeah, that seems better. And then City can be whatever color you want it to be. So only one Dredger? Oh, good grief! The Wheel of Fortune draw gets replaced by dredges.
Right. Yeah. This is,
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I didn't think of that either, but
I was just thinking about the Bazaar. I forgot about the 7 draws from Wheel of
right,
Fortune.
so he might just kill.
He can dredge 9 times.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it is must win. He can just keep dredging as long as he flips over dredgers.
This
Hilarious.
This is crazy. I'm not even sure you should keep Wheel of Fortune in against Dredge.
But you complained when Reed took it out. That is exactly the card Reed took out, and this is exactly why. You can't have it both ways. You either want the gas or you don't.
That wasn't against Dredge though, right?
Yes, it was. Wasn't it?
No, Reed.
Oh, it was against the combo. It was a graveyard deck.
Yeah.
It was a graveyard
That was
deck,
against
right? It's
World
not
Gorger.
as ridiculous here. It was against World Gorger.
I think you probably still need Wheel of Fortune in, but
I think you do.
But you're planning on.
All right, Storm counts at 3. I see a Ruby. I wonder if he has another artifact. He's going to brainstorm with the floating blue mana.
But wow, I mean, this is like he essentially put Mark into a turn 2 kill, right?
Yes, he did. Lion's Eye and another Opal, so the Opals are turned on. But does he have any drawing? He needs to draw more cards. What's the black card on the far right? Is that a Griselbrand?
Griselbrand, I think. So it looks like he switched plans back to Griselbrand.
Which is fine, but now he needs to cast Griselbrand. Can he get to 8 mana? I don't think so. He is out of gas, isn't he? He's got Opal. He's got Chrome Mox. He's putting those back with the Brainstorm because we're resolving Brainstorm. Yeah, he's got Forbidden Orchard, Lion's Eye, Ruby. I didn't see any business. He can play an Oath. He can play Orchard Oath. But did we miss a spell? It's red and 1. We would love to cast Burning Wish. I think it's green and 1 for Oath. We haven't even given him a creature yet.
I don't know. He's keeping track of Storm as if it still matters.
Right.
But I'm not sure it does.
Well, you may as well represent to your opponent. I mean, not that the opponent has any way to interact with you, but what are you going to do? And he has not played a land. Because he has to play Orchard here.
We've
This
just
is
been,
turn 0? Yeah, so don't give him a creature yet. May as well do it end step. He should play the Mox. I don't even know if it matters.
I think that Mark is definitely going to be able to win this. So he's going to get 3 turns, Mark is. So
Yes. There's enough time. They're now in extra turns. The round has ended. But they have enough extra turns that both these guys are capable of implementing their plan. All right. So Mark Hornig, who got the gift Wheel of Fortune, now gets to activate Bazaar of Baghdad. Although he ran out of dredgers. So the Bazaar is draw 2, discard 3. No more dredging. Still, that is a pretty juicy graveyard for the beginning of your second turn.
right, so he has to figure out if he can. He needs to get the Flamekin Zealot, so
Yeah, he
he can
needs
win
to
in
win on
1
the
turn
spot.
without having a creature in play already, so he never activates Oath.
Absolutely true.
Oh, but Forbidden Orchard, right?
Right, Forbidden Orchard means the Oath is going to activate. If Justin gets a turn, he'll be able to Oath into Griselbrand. So Mark does not want to give him a turn. He wants the turn 2 kill. We're now on turn 1 of extra turns. Upkeep. Tap Bazaar.
He's got a lot of dredging here.
Yeah, Dredge, Grogard, Grave Troll,
Darkmoor Salvage, there's an
Narcomoeba. Have we
Oh,
seen
2
bridges?
Narcomoebas.
2 Narcomoebas. I don't think have we seen a single
There's a
bridge?
bridge. There's
There
a
is one
bridge.
bridge. All right, second draw off the Bazaar. Also a Grave Troll. We're up to 3 Narcomoebas. Couple Bloodghast. There's the Dread Return. Not seen Flamekin Zealot. Now look at him shuffle his hands. All right. He'll now get to discard 3.
He also has
Sun Titan do anything?
So Sun Titan will be able to get a Bazaar Baghdad back from his graveyard and give him an additional Bazaar Baghdad activation if he needs it.
His deck's pretty thin. All right, he's got to discard 3 off the Bazaar. We're in Mark's upkeep, so he does still have a draw phase coming, which presumably is Grave Troll fishing for Flamekin Zealot, right?
I assume he's going to discard Sun Titan, Grave Troll, Grave Troll?
Well, he discarded a Dread Return,
a
Sun Titan. He only needs to discard 1 Grave Troll. Yep, that makes sense. Now, the Narcomoebas come back. We have finally finished activating... Oh, and an Icarid. So, Bazaar's finished activating 3 Narcomoebas and an Icarid. Now he's got a draw phase where he's going to dredge the Grave Troll. And he's looking for Flamekin Zealot for the turn 2 kill. I mean, there's some details about making more zombies with the bridge, but... Stinkweed, Bazaar, Grave Troll.
There's the Flamekin Zealot.
There is the Flamekin Zealot. 4.
That's a lot of Dread Returns.
Yeah, 3 Dread Returns.
There's
Only one bridge.
I think,
Does that matter? It's actually...
does that matter? I think yes. Although is Elish Norn in there? So
Elish Norn?
Right. So
yes, it's Elish Norn, 4th card in the graveyard, isn't it? Hilarious. Flamekin Zealot needs help to get to 20.
So when he plays a land, he might be able to Dread Return twice, get Flamekin Zealot, and the Elish Norn will act as an additional bridge.
Crazy. Yeah, only 1 bridge. That's kind of a bad beat, right? There's not much of his library left. Alright, so he's Cabal Therapied. He's seen what's up on the other side. Which is basically nothing.
He still gets to play land for the turn, which gets him back.
Alright, he's going to go ahead and Dread Return. Makes 3 guys. And here's Sun Titan. When it comes into play, he uses it to get City of Brass.
Is this going to kill the Oath? Is that it?
Which triggers all the Bloodghasts.
Right.
Which is not good enough for Flamekin, right?
Right, because he sacrifices them.
I forgot about the Bloodghasts.
He gets 3 more.
Yeah. Bloodghast can all the creatures he needs for Flamekin to be lethal.
Yep.
I mean, they're all coming over at 3 power. And there's more than 7.
And Sun Titan has...
Sun Titan also picks up haste. Yep. Sack 3 guys. Oh, I did not expect Mark Horning to win this matchup.
Oh, I mean, just imagine if that was Time Twister instead of Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Justin played this one wrong.
He mulligan. I mean, it was the mulligan the first hand, right?
He could have kept the turn 2 bargain hand. He could have kept it. Yeah, there it is. Justin concedes, and Mark Horning moves to 3-1. Dread.